Owning a home is still the American dream, but it comes with plenty of emotional and financial challenges. Join real estate broker Ron Evans each week as he shares the latest industry and local real estate market news through interviews with other agents and industry professionals. If you're confused about today's real estate market or just want to understand the home buying and selling process, this show is for you. Here's your host, Ron Evans.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Ron Evans, and this is our market update, our first market update. Previously, we did the 2022 preview or predictions, and now this is our first actual update with some data to share. As always, all of this information comes from Stephen Thomas and his reports on housing. Stephen's been an economist here locally in Orange County since 2004, reporting these numbers. So he goes back quite a ways, and he has been deemed very reliable with his data tracking and being able to predict what's going to be coming. It's all about the math. It's all about the numbers. It's all about the statistics. So let's just dive right in. If you remember, in the previous episode, when we talked about the predictions for 2022, we talked that we were at an all-time low, and it's a broken record. It seems like we're always at an all-time low, but this time we had 954 homes to start the year here in Orange County available. This time last year, it was over 3,000, which was still low, but it was 3x what we have right now. That's tough, man. It's a tough market if you're a buyer. Very tough market. It's a fantastic market if you're a seller. In fact, we still consider it an insanely hot seller's market. So let's just talk about things right here. Stephen, the first thing I want to talk about is Stephen's warnings he's got, or not necessarily warnings, but things to pay attention to for buyers and for sellers. So attention to buyers, waiting for the market to get easier for buyers is not the answer, because it's not. Home values are on the rise and mortgage rates have been on the rise as well. Values are slated to climb between 8 to 10% in Orange County, and mortgage rates could reach or even exceed 3.5%. This is throughout 2022. Now, if you remember in 2021, I think we had almost a 20% year-over-year increase. Well, they're expecting another 8 to 10% increase this year for 2022 in the rise of home values. Typically, historically, Orange County runs like clockwork at about a 5% year-over-year, which outpaces the rest of the country. But we saw 4x that in 2021, and we're going to see 2x that at least, it looks like, for 2022. So with the rising values and higher rates, payments increase and home affordability will slowly erode. For buyers, waiting is not an option. Instead, buyers should pursue a purchase with patience and steadfast determination. It may take 30 offers to hit pay dirt, but it is that kind of persistence that is ultimately rewarded with success. I can tell you right now, I've got a couple buyers. In fact, just tonight, prior to recording this, we just submitted our 5th offer on a 5th home. My buyers are well qualified. But just to give you a real life example, the previous home that we were gunning for, we put an offer in $40,000 over list price. And we didn't even make the counter offer cut. That's the reality. There were 14 offers, and at $40,000 over list price, we did not make the counter offer cut. It's a really tough market, even for agents and brokers, to try to even predict what you should be writing on an offer. It's hard, almost impossible to find comps. So just know that it may take you 30 offers to finally get one accepted. But eventually, if you're persistent, it will pay off. If you have a really good agent working for you, it will pay off. Now, the attention to sellers: take advantage of the hot market by pricing a home as close to the last comparable or pending sale. Right now, we don't have a lot of agents and sellers doing that. They're still pricing it artificially low to garner the most eyeballs and the most offers. So when you do find a comp to something, you're going to notice that the comp is probably higher. Even if it was a comp from several months ago, it's going to be higher than where they're pricing it at right now. That adds an extra layer of trickiness to the situation in getting an offer accepted. So carefully pricing will allow a seller to tap into the throngs of buyers waiting for every home that hits the market. A realistic price will allow a seller to attract a ton of offers. The bidding war that follows will allow a seller to obtain a very high sales price, typically selling for a lot higher than the asking price. Like I said, we just missed out on one and we were 40K over, didn't even get a counteroffer. Sellers who stretch the asking price too much and grossly overprice will result in wasted market time and less activity as the price is adjusted down the road. In this market, it is best to take advantage of the enormous buyer pool, carefully watching and waiting for every new home that matches their search. Longer market times due to overpricing could result in fewer showings and fewer offers. Over the last 2 weeks, we have looked at homes that were grossly overpriced and have been on the market in this market for 2 months. The average market time is 23, 24 days, and these homes were so overpriced that they are still on the market 60 days later, and finally are having price adjustments to get it down close to where it needs to be. But that's the fine balance. It's the fine balance of what we do, trying to predict where the market's going to take your home and price and listing it appropriately to get it there. Because if you overshoot it, you're going to get shot down. So let's just go through the summary here and we'll talk about active listing inventory, demand, all that fun stuff that we normally talk about. So here's the Orange County housing summary in a nutshell. And again, for those of you that are new, if you haven't listened before, everything I talk about here on this show is Orange County in general. So it's all encompassing of all of Orange County. I do have the data available that covers zip code and city, all the different cities in Orange County. So if you have a particular city in Orange County that you would like detailed information on, please let me know. I'll have my contact information here at the end of the show. Orange County housing summary. The active listing inventory added just 28 homes, which is actually a 3% gain, and now totals at 1,100 homes. Its lowest start to the year since tracking began 18 years ago. In December, there were 4% fewer homes that came to the market compared to the 3-year average prior to COVID. We don't count 2020 in a lot of our statistics. You can go back and listen to previous episodes for that to understand why, but we count 2017 to 2019. So to go back, in December, there were 4% fewer homes that came on the market compared to the 3-year average prior to COVID, which is 65 fewer. Last year, there were 2,633 homes on the market, which is 1,533 additional homes, or 139% more than we have today. Demand. Now, demand is, for the definition, demand is the amount of homes that go into what's called pending status. So they're in escrow, contingencies are removed, it's gonna close. That's demand. So it's the number of pending sales over the prior month decreased by 296 pending sales in the past 2 weeks, down 19%, and now totals 1,295. Last year, there were 1,895 pending sales, which is 46% more than today, due to a delay in the 2020 spring market because of COVID. That's part of it, but also there were a lot more homes available to even go into pending status for people to purchase. So lower homes available is automatically going to crush down the demand, because even though there's fewer homes available, a lot of the buyers, probably over the half the buyers that are out there, are still very discerning, still very picky, if you will, and they still want the right home. So they're not just going to buy crap because crap's the only thing that's available. So with demand plunging coupled with a slight rise in the supply, the expected market time, which is the number of days to sell all Orange County listings at the current buying pace, increased from 20 to 25 days in the past couple of weeks. Its lowest level to start a year in an insanely hot seller's market, which is less than 60 days. It was 42 days last year this time. So it was 42 days last year, which is still a hot seller's market, but still slower than today. And we had more inventory. For homes priced below 750,000, so for all your first-time home buyer starter homes here in Orange County, the market is a hot seller's market, which is less than 60 days, with an expected market time of just 19 days. This range, so the first-time home buyer starter home range, represents 27% of the active inventory, but 35% of the demand. So 35% of the buyers out there are looking in this price point, but there's only 27% of the homes available are in that price point. See the problem? For homes priced between 750,000 and 1 million, the expected market time is also 19 days. This range represents 20% of the active inventory and 26% of the demand. So there you go. Everything below 1 million has the highest amount of demand, or has demand that outpaces the inventory by a decent margin, which is causing the low market time and causing the bottleneck. For homes priced between 1 million and 1.25 million, the expected market time is 18 days. This range represents 8% of the active inventory and 12% of the demand. So there we go. We still have it flipped. For homes priced between 1.25 and 1.5 million, the expected market time is 14 days. This range represents 5% of the inventory and 10% of the demand. So I'm going to correct myself. From 1.5 million on down, that is where we have a much higher demand than we have of supply, basically. And that's what's driving the pricing, what's driving the days on market, and what's bottlenecking all of our inventory. So anything under 1.5 million in Orange County is considered a standard sale. It's either going to be your first-time home buyer, slight move up, whatever. Anything over 1.5 million, which we're going to talk about, is our luxury market. For homes priced between 1.5 and 2 million, the expected market time is 24 days. So see, it goes up a little bit there. Still a hot seller's market. This range represents 8% of the active inventory and 8% of the demand. It's actually kind of balanced, right? For homes priced between 2 and 4 million, the expected market time increased from 44 to 55 days. For homes priced between 4 million and 8 million, the expected market time increased from 101 to 159 days. For homes priced above 8 million, the expected market time, listen to this. So for homes priced above 8 million, in the last 2 weeks, the market time has gone from 713 days, so over almost 2 years, down to 210 days, barely over 6 months, 7 months. That is crazy. The luxury end, which is all the homes over 1.5 million, accounts for 32% of the inventory and 9% of the demand. So even though you have more inventory in that space and less of demand, homes are still moving. I've commented several times on previous episodes that just a few years ago, when you got into the 2 million to 4 million and higher, it wasn't uncommon at those price points, which is like our entry level to luxury, those those days on market to be a year, 300 days plus, 400 days plus, 500 days plus. Everything is just wackadoodle nuts and fast here in the age of COVID at all price points. Now let's talk distressed homes. Distressed homes, which is both short sales and foreclosures combined, we combine them here, made up only 0.3%, just 0.3% of all listings and 0.8% of the demand. There are only 3 foreclosures and there are no short sales available to purchase today in all of Orange County. 3 total distressed homes on the active market, down 6 from 2 weeks ago. So we did have like 9, and it was kind of steady at 9 to 11 there for quite a while. Now we're down to 3. Last year, there were 9 total distressed homes on the market, which is similar to today. There were 2,750 closed residential resales in November, 10% less than November of 2020, but that's due to the delayed market because of COVID. For the year through November, there have been 32,669 closed sales in 2021, which is 20% higher than 2020. September marked a 7% drop compared to October 2021. The sales to list price ratio was 101.1% for all of Orange County. So that means what you sell it for versus what you list for is 101.1%. So everybody, it's averaging out to a little bit of a bump, even the people that have to take a loss or have to reduce their price. It's still averaging out to over 100%. Foreclosures accounted for just 0.2% of all closed sales, and short sales accounted also for just 0.2%. That means 99.6% of all sales in Orange County were good old-fashioned sellers with equity. And that's what we're seeing here, folks. You hear a lot, you're still hearing a lot nationally about possible foreclosures coming up in 2022 because of forbearance and different things. The numbers, as we keep saying, episode after episode, it's just not going to bear that out. It's not going to bear fruit. Don't expect to see a lot of foreclosures and distressed properties. It's just not going to happen. So there you have it. I will share some charts and everything on this episode as well. So I will add those in before publishing. And again, I thank everyone for joining. If you have any questions or comments, please drop them in the YouTube comment section or on whatever podcast platform you are listening, and I will answer as best I can. You can always email me at realestate101@ronevansrealty.com. You can text me at 949-929-2270, and I'll get back to you just as soon as I can. I appreciate everybody listening. I appreciate all the feedback. I appreciate all the comments. I love them all. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, whatever you can do to be alerted when I have new episodes that come out. These market updates come out every 2 weeks, and I have other information that I release weekly in between regarding the housing market in general here in Orange County and other real estate news, both locally and nationally, to comment on and talk about. I hope you find it all valuable. Thank you so much for joining. See you soon. Folks, what are you waiting for? Hit subscribe now. You never want to miss another episode.